Hi, I'm Lunette from Paris. Please like and subscribe. I grew up as the only child of two successful pediatricians whose dream was to own a huge mansion in the countryside one day. But I loved living in the city. It had fun things to do, like learning judo. I also met my childhood bestie Cole in judo school when we were 7. We discovered we lived just a block away from each other, and after that, we hung out non-stop. We'd read science books, stargaze, and practice judo. Cole was the best, and my parents liked him too. But the summer before high school, Mom and Dad dropped a bomb on me. They'd finally bought their dream mansion. So, we're moving? Yes, but you'll love the new place. It's huge. They weren't kidding. It looked like a frickin' castle. But the hardest part about moving away was saying goodbye to Cole. Let's keep in touch. Of course. But over time, we just drifted apart. And a lot more changed. Mom and Dad weren't around anymore. They worked all the time. When I tried to talk to them about it, they'd snap at me. We don't have time for this. We're overworked and overtired. What they were really saying was that they didn't have time for me, and I didn't matter. Fine, I'll just make our maids my family then. And that's kinda what ended up happening. The staff at the mansion were really nice and took care of me. Mom and Dad weren't even around to wish me luck on the first day of high school, but at least I had my chauffeur to do it. I was really nervous on my first day, and it was kinda worse than I expected. Everyone already had groups that they belonged to, and everyone was a snob. The cool girls were like supermodels who never looked up from their phones when I'd say hi. Even the loners ignored me. It was almost like I didn't exist. The worst was gym class one morning. When it was time to pick partners, nobody chose me. I had to pair up with the teacher and was laughed at. I'd never felt more alone, and to my horror, I started crying. I lied that it was from stomach pain just to go home. Our head maid tried to comfort me. I'm sorry your first few weeks were lonely. But just be yourself, it'll get better. Your mats are set up if you'd like to practice judo to feel better. But I just laid on them instead and thought maybe being myself was the problem. I showed up at school the next week with a total makeover. The cool girls noticed. I'm Stacy, and OMG, we love your look. OMG, thanks. We're all models in the fashion police. What's your name, goddess? Lunette. Well, Lulu babe, look for us at lunch. And just like that, I was in with the in crowd. What else do you girls enjoy aside from modeling and fashion? That's our whole rave and purpose. Suddenly, 2 girls with big glasses tried sitting at our table. Ew, leave, losers. Just then, Stacy got up and slammed her hands on the table. Both girls flipped their lunch trays, spilling food all over their clothes. They ran off immediately. A part of me wanted to stand up to Stacy's meanness, but sitting with them meant I was accepted. How do you stay fit? Do you work out? We don't like to sweat. The biggest losers sweat. Sweat means work, and if you need to work, you're gross and poor. Wow, I knew these girls were shallow and wouldn't understand my passion for judo, so I didn't mention it. FYI, looks are everything. That's how to get a guy to like you, because guys are also our world. Just then, the dreamiest hunk I'd ever seen pulled up on a Harley motorcycle outside of our cafeteria window. I heard high school heartthrob Harley is single now. That's rare. His name is Harley and he rides a Harley? Right? Isn't he perfect? Any girl would be lucky to date him. The next day, I was walking down the hallway when I bumped straight into someone. Harley. Hey, gorgeous. Oh, you know my name. Do you think it was fate that had you crash into me? I just stood there blushing speechlessly. I'd like to think so. I'd also like to think you'll say yes to the movies later. The high school heartthrob wanted to spend time with me? Sure, I'm Lunette. I'm impressed. We exchanged numbers, and I floated through my day. Our first date turned into our 4th and 5th. Soon after, we were an official couple. I was the envy of every girl at school. Stacy and her girls stuck to me like glue, and everyone treated me like royalty. Harley was like the male version of Stacy, a model who hated physical activity and was obsessed with his looks. Even though he knew nothing about the real me, I liked walking around on his arm and going to all the modeling parties. Harley and your friends don't know you're a master of judo? or who you really are? No, they can't. If they knew, they'd drop me like a sock. Isn't it more important to be yourself and have real relationships than to be popular? It feels nice to finally be noticed and accepted by people who matter, even if it means pretending to be someone else. Actors do it all the time. Yes, they do, for a moment in movies and plays. But this is your life, and it's a special and unique one to live. Someday, you'll realize this act isn't worth it anymore. You are meant to be who you are. I couldn't get to sleep that night. In fact, I had trouble sleeping for a year. I was still dating Harley, and Stacy and co adored me. We ruled the school. On the outside, it looked easy, but it wasn't. One day at school, I ran into someone who looked familiar. Excuse me, could you tell me where the science lab is? Cole? Is that you? Yeah. Have we met? It's Lunette. Lunette? Wow, you look incredible. We hugged and my heart fluttered. Cole looked extremely handsome and was rocking this rugged look. What are you doing here? We moved. I got a scholarship here. Plus, it costs too much to stay in the city. So Mom got a job out here as a live-in nanny for a wealthy family. We're right beside a cool castle-looking mansion. OMG, that might be my house. On Honest Avenue? Yeah. I felt like I could talk to him forever. We got each other's numbers and agreed to catch up. Cole invited me for gelato that weekend, and he looked good. So good that when I saw him, I stepped on my own foot and flew into his arms. We both laughed. What are you into now? Fashion. That's my whole rave and purpose. Really? Totally. I mean, when I'm not hanging out with my boyfriend Harley. Boyfriend, huh? I'll have to meet him. What's with this, Mr. Scruffy? Come on, you know it suits me. We spent the whole day together. I found out Cole still loved science and judo. I wanted to tell him I still loved those things too. And a judo tournament was coming up, but I stopped myself. I didn't want him mentioning it in front of Harley or my friends. So I said I stopped doing judo ages ago, which really surprised him. I didn't check my phone once until that night, and later saw that I had 26 missed calls from Harley. Shoot, I had completely forgotten about his modeling party. I'm sorry, my old BFF is back in my life and we wanted to spend time together. I didn't mean to forget. Yeah, well you did. And I looked like an idiot loser without a girlfriend. And with that, Harley hung up. I felt terrible. I gave Harley space, which seemed to work because the next day, he asked to give me a ride to school. We parked and we were hugging when suddenly I saw Cole. We locked eyes and my heart fluttered again. And he walked straight into a bus stop sign. Are you okay? Yeah, don't know what happened there. Harley caught up to us. You must be Harley. Naturally. Good to meet you. I'm Cole, Lunette's old best pal. You're that friend? You sure you go here? You look like a hobo. You must be on scholarship. Here. Just then, Harley tossed coins at Cole's feet. Harley, what is the matter with you? Just then, the bell rang and cut the tension. Kinda. I looked at Cole, who kept his cool, but I felt so mad at Harley. At the end of the day, Stacy and I were waiting for our car rides home when suddenly a football smacked her on the head out of nowhere. We turned around to see a very nervous freshman. You dumb scum! Are you a complete moron? I'm really sorry. It was an accident. Can I have the ball back, please? I threw the ball at him and it ended up hitting his face and knocking his glasses off. I didn't do it on purpose, but Stacy burst out laughing. And just then, I spotted Cole looking at me in shock. And then he quickly turned around and left. Now he must think I'm a jerk. My judo tournament was the next morning, and I was busy training, so I didn't have a chance to talk to Cole. I'd asked both Mom and Dad if they could make it to the tournament, and they said they'd try to if they got off from work on time. I kept scanning the crowd for their faces, feeling unable to focus. But that wasn't the most stressful thing. I found out my match was against Cole. You lied, Lunette? Look, I'm sorry. This may sound super weird, but I've been pretending to be someone I'm not at school to make friends. I was having a really hard time fitting in, but as this girl who pretends to care only about fashion, I want instant popularity. I'm liked now. It matters a lot because at home, I get ignored enough by my parents. I told you I wasn't into judo anymore so you wouldn't say anything in front of my friends. But I swear, I was gonna tell you eventually. that I'm still me. Lunette, you're better than this. And with disappointment, he walked away. Our match began, and I was a wreck, and it seems like Mom and Dad were no-shows. I couldn't face Cole. It only lasted seconds. Cole won and didn't say one word to me. As I started to run out, I heard faint shouting. It was Mom and Dad, with flowers for me. I cried in their arms. Honey, don't be so upset that you lost. It's okay. Let's get you home. We need to get back to work, but we'll have a talk very soon. A week passed and Mom and Dad's talk hadn't happened. Cole was completely ignoring me too, and it was making things so much harder. I realized I loved Cole and always had. It was eating me up inside, and so was my fakeness. I texted Cole saying I had an emergency. Surprisingly, he showed up at my door. Are we still good? Is this your emergency? You keep lying. You know, I missed you a lot when you left. I missed the Lunette who came alive when she practiced judo, who talked about the universe, and who cared about something other than her looks. I was in love with you then. What? He loved me? But now, I don't even know you. You're mean and fake, and it's all to feel important. I can't connect with you anymore. I'm sorry. And he walked off before I could say that I wanted to drop my act. After that, Cole started a judo club at school that grew fast. Something else was growing. My desire to be part of that club and to be with him. I went looking for Harley at his place one evening to say I couldn't be with him anymore, and I was horrified to find him kissing Stacy. What are you doing? Babe, thanks for making this so much easier. We are done. I threw my heels at them furiously. I didn't care that I'd never see those shoes again. The next day, I was in the school hallway and spotted Cole in the distance when suddenly, I felt someone's arms around me. Babe, let me explain. Just the sight of him made my blood boil. I don't know what came over me, but suddenly, I pulled a judo move on Harley and slammed him into the floor. We're over. Stacy too. You can tell her that. I walked out with strange new confidence as lots of people cheered me on. I guess Harley had other haters too. I went home early and was really surprised to find my parents there. You guys are home early. So are you. What's wrong? I found out I've kind of been friends with jerks, but I'll be fine. You know, honey, we've been jerks too. We were working so hard for our dreams and this mansion, and we cared so much about our image in front of our friends and colleagues, we just ended up ignoring you completely. But you are our greatest dream. We realized that when we saw your judo match, we've been missing out on your life. We wanted to tell you that we'll make time for you. You come first. We are so sorry, and we love you. I love you guys too. We all hugged. Just at that moment, the doorbell rang. Cole! I saw what you did back there with Harley. I'm sorry about your breakup. Are you okay? I'm getting there. If you need help feeling better, I could use your help running the judo club. Interested? I'd love it. He leaned closer like he might kiss me. My heart was racing. Is that the truth? No more fakeness? Cross my heart. I learned to never change for anyone because nothing was better than just being me. And I realized that people who truly love you would never ask you to be anyone else.